It's the start of the wet season and Sam and I have been out chasing queenfish and we've been having a heap of fun on soft plastics. I decided to come out and try to catch a few on fly. So I'm going to fish this little creek. I'm going to work my way up to the bridge where Sam and I were catching a heap of queenies and just going to see how I go, throwing a fly around WEIPA, so this should be a bit of fun. Yep. Beautiful little fish. These big spaghetti rods with a good fish on it. My reel has malfunctioned. It's got no stopper on it, so it just backlashed. So I've got to, hopefully he doesn't take enough line to get it back on the reel, but then I'm in trouble. He's not huge though, that's a good thing. Playing him in like a trout, as if I was in the stream in Tasmania rather than up in Cape York. He's got that clouser right on the outside of his lip there, so yeah. My reel's an absolute mess, but the little queenie just the same. There's some real big ones here, and I'm quite lucky I'm getting the little ones at the moment, but I'm looking forward to having a crack at landing a real big one on the fly gear, but my reel's a bit of an issue at the moment, so it might be a problem. Oh yeah, got him! So the fly I'm using is this little clouser. They call them clousers because they've got a bit of lead as their eyes, which in this strong current it'll just sit them under the water just a little bit. So it's a really good representation of the little whitebait that these queenfish are eating at the moment. I've been out here plenty of times catching them on soft plastic, so I'll put a link to another video at the end of this. If you don't fly fish, you can still come out here and catch them on plastics, but there's a couple of tricks I share in that video, so make sure you check out the video. But if you want to catch them on fly, a little 8-weight fly rod and a 16-pound tippet, and that clouser is just perfect. Let's get a couple more. Oh yeah! Yep. Another queenie. There you go. I took the clouser off, and that fly you can see there is called a surf candy, and floats a little bit more than the clouser does. The clouser sinks quite quickly, but that did the trick on this guy. Just taking an opportunity, the afternoon storms rolled through, so I'm back out having another fish, and I don't know what I'm going to get here, but I'm going to put something a bit bigger on, and it's still a clouser, so it's the clousers with the weighted eyes. So it'll still cast quite nicely, but you know, we might get tarpon, we still might get queenfish, trevally, could get anything. So put this on and see how we go. Now I'm not going to give anyone lessons on how to fly fish, because there are so many better fly fishermen out there on YouTube than me that you can learn from. But one hint I will give you is that don't stand here doing false cast after false cast. I might do 1 or 2 false casts, but a lot of the time I can strip the lure back a little bit, get the line back there, and just drop that lure straight back in amongst those snags, because it doesn't have to move too far. And if I end up with a fair bit of line like I have now, I might just do a single false cast and get all that line back out there and get that that fly back around those mangrove roots. So it's just usually a simple case of just one false cast back, or not even doing a false cast technically, just doing a roll cast or whatever they call it. And if I want to change direction to this little creek mouth just here, straight up. So the rig I use when I fly fish is a standard 8-weight fly fishing outfit. So it's just a gillies rod with a pretty cheap reel, and as you saw in the video, the reel was playing up, so I might be getting a new reel. And so that's an intermediate fly line. I also like to use a fast sinking fly line sometimes as well, but I find the intermediate is pretty good all around because it does sink fairly quickly, and unless you're fishing deep water you don't really need a fast sinking fly line. I like the Sunline tippets. Now this one is a 20-pound tippet. The one I was using, or I've got tied on my rod now, is a 16-pound. I think I'll stick to 20. The 16 is a little bit light, and I find I'm shortening it all the time, and I'm just wasting the tippet. Now, why you need to use a tapered leader, you can tie your own, but you can buy them for cheap enough, is you need to start off with, from the end of your fly line, quite a heavy line, like a 40-pound line, and then go down to a 30-pound line, and then go down to a 20-pound line. So about 1 meter or 3/4 of a meter of each. And that way when you cast your lure, especially when I do that little
single false casting or a roll cast or whatever I do, it just helps that fly roll back out and extend out when it falls in the water. If you don't have a tapered leader, when you do your cast, your fly just falls in a heap and it gets all messy. And I'm bad enough at fly casting as it is, so I don't need any problems with my tapered leader as well. And the flies I use, now the little tiny white bait that the queenfish were chasing, means that I put a clouser on. You know, the clousers have eyes on them, and they're just lead weighted eyes, and it just gets them underneath the water in that fast current a little bit. So you don't really need a clouser if the current's not very quick, but if you're fishing a little bit of current, a clouser is really nice. And that's just a little bit of bling hanging off a hook basically, and it just looks like a little white bait. This is an unweighted one, so it doesn't have the eyes on it. This is just one I tied myself, which is just pretty straightforward. A little bit of bling on a hook with a bit of chartreuse. It's another small clouser here with some eyes on it. And I also caught, when the current slowed down, I took the weight or the clouser off, and I used what they call a surf candy. Now, this guy has a bit of bling hanging off him, but he's pretty shiny. It's like a, I buy these, so I don't make them. It's like a resin kind of thing that holds all that stuff on. And surf candies always work for me really, really well. So catching them on fly is a bit of a challenge. So if you want to make it a little bit easy for yourself, check this video out here. It's about catching queenfish on soft plastics, and you'll catch a heap more on plastics. But it's good fun and a real challenge to try to catch them on fly.